I was curious about YouTube video length best practices, so I analyzed 46,000 videos across 509 channels to figure out how long videos should be on YouTube. And to my surprise, a very clear pattern emerged. Let's find out how long your video should be on YouTube. I'm sure you don't want to hear all the details on how I did this, so I'll just give you a quick summary. I'm subscribed to more than 500 channels on photography, videography, cinematography, filmmaking, how to grow on YouTube, and all those kind of topics. And I was curious about how channels in my niche perform, so I wrote a program that pulls data from the YouTube API and analyzes it to find out more about them. Now keep in mind, the data I'm about to show you is specific to my niche, but the general principles should apply across most niches, including your own. Of the many numbers that I'm tracking, two of the interesting ones are the length of each video and the number of views that each video has received. When we put those numbers together, we can start to calculate on average how many views a video gets based on its length, which can help tell us if YouTube tends to prefer one length over another. Basically, it can tell us how long your videos should be to generate the most ad revenue, or if you're not interested in that, at least how long they should be to get the most views. Now, the video length data I have is measured in seconds, which was a little too specific for what I wanted to do. So I grouped them together into minutes. So 0 to 1 minute, 1 minute to 2 minutes, 2 minutes to 3 minutes, and so on. This just helps organize the graph a little better so we can more clearly see what's going on. I also capped my analysis at the 60-minute mark. There aren't a lot of videos that go beyond 60 minutes on YouTube, so there wasn't a whole lot of data there to analyze. And just to get a better sense of the data we're looking at, let's take a look at how many videos there are for each of these lengths. Obviously, shorter videos are the most normal. In my database, there are about 2,800 videos under a minute long, 4,700 from 1 to 2 minutes, 5,100 from 2 to 3 minutes, and then we peak with 5,300 videos in the 3 to 4 minute range. That's the most popular length for a video in my content niche, and I would guess that extends into a lot of other informational niches as well. A lot of these videos are tutorials, demos, and so on, and you can communicate almost any single concept effectively in about 3 to 4 minutes. Obviously, though, some niches are going to vary. In the video game community, for example, I would expect average durations to be longer since there are a lot of extended gameplay videos. Other niches might be shorter. After the 3 to 4 minute mark, you can see the videos just kind of run out of steam and quickly drop off, with relatively few people making videos over 10 minutes long. Although you see an interesting bump here at the 10-minute mark. This one stands out in an otherwise pretty smooth graph. Well, for YouTube channels that are monetized, creators have the option to add mid-roll ads, which are the ads that show up in the middle of your video.
You are unique. You are different. You are special.
You're probably not a huge fan of those, but they do generate revenue. So for content creators for whom this is their job, that revenue makes a difference and they need to take a good look at that. It used to be that YouTube had a limit that a video had to be at least 10 minutes long before you could put mid-roll ads into it. They've recently changed that limit to 8 minutes, but historically you'll find a whole lot of videos that were just over 10 minutes because the creators were trying to stretch them out enough that they could insert mid-roll ads. In the future, we're probably going to see a lot of 8-minute videos, but this database is looking to all the past videos when it was still a 10-minute limit. Now, just to be clear, this graph doesn't tell us anything about the ideal YouTube video length. It just tells us how many videos there are at certain lengths. It doesn't tell us how they're performing. However, this graph I'm about to show you does. This graph compares YouTube video length to the number of views that each video receives on average. As you can see, this looks almost nothing like the previous graph, which means that the vast majority of creators either aren't aware of the optimal YouTube video length, they're not able to make their videos that long for whatever reason, or they just don't care. It's fairly obvious from this data that shorter videos get fewer views, with videos under a minute getting the fewest of all. That trend continues steadily all the way up to around the 20-minute mark, which appears to be the optimal length for a video to receive the most views. The graph gets a little bumpy around there, but that's due to the smaller sample sizes. If you remember from the previous graph, not many people are making videos of that length. Of the 46,000 sample videos in my database, I have thousands for each of these smaller sizes, but only a few hundred around the 20-minute mark, and even fewer for longer video lengths. That means a few videos that perform very well or very poorly will make the data a little wobbly because they don't get smoothed out as much in the averages. That's why this graph gets more jagged the further you look to the right. If we sampled millions of videos, this graph would be a lot smoother. That said, there's definitely enough data here to see the clear pattern. It goes up to here, peaking around the 20-minute mark, and then it goes down again. So if you're looking for YouTube video length best practices, this is a pretty clear hint. In this data, which represents a niche that I think is pretty representative of many content niches on YouTube, The 20-minute mark is the peak. Those videos get the most views. In fact, they get nearly double the views of a typical 4 to 5 minute video. Now, if the idea of producing a 20-minute video freaks you out a little bit, don't worry. As you can see, the graph actually starts to taper off right around the 10-minute mark. So a 10-minute video gets 43% more views than a 5-minute video. A 15-minute video gets 14% more views than a 10-minute video, and a 20-minute video only gets about 3% more views than a 15-minute video. Basically, you start to see diminishing returns after about the 10-minute mark. So if you can at least hit the 10-minute mark, that puts you in pretty good shape. You're still in the territory of the high-performing videos, which is really anything between about 10 minutes and 30 minutes. So don't go crazy trying to come up with 20-minute videos if that's too much of a stretch for you. Maybe try 10 minutes and see what happens. My videos tend to average about 5 minutes in length, and I'm already daunted by the idea of trying to get them to 10 minutes. With the limited time I have available, I might not even be able to pull that off. We'll see. By the way, here's a pro tip if you want to find out what your own average video length is. YouTube Studio's analytics doesn't really give you that information, but you can reverse engineer it with a little basic math. Go into your analytics details and make sure you're showing average view duration, or AVD, and your average percentage viewed, or APV, and it'll give you the totals here at the top. First, convert your AVD to seconds by multiplying the number of minutes by 60 and adding the number of seconds. So for me, that would be 120 seconds plus 41 seconds equals 161 seconds for my AVD. Then I divide that by the APV. Percentages can be a little confusing to work with, but all you have to do is move the decimal point over 2 places. So instead of dividing by 53.9, you divide by 0.539. This gives me an average video length of 298.7 seconds. Divide that by 60 to get the average video length in minutes, and you'll see mine comes to almost exactly 5 minutes. Okay, don't worry, there's no more math. Okay, so why is this? Why do 20-minute videos on average get twice as many views as a 4 to 5 minute video? The data doesn't actually tell us why, but we can make some educated guesses. One reason might be that it's kind of annoying to look for a new video every few minutes. So you might want to find a video that's 20 minutes long so you can just sit back and enjoy for a while. A 20-minute video is generally going to be a more in-depth, richer experience, so users might actually be searching out longer videos. Another reason is that longer videos naturally tend to get more watch time, so the YouTube algorithm may prefer them and may see that they're getting more watch time and therefore recommend them more often. Or it could be that the YouTube algorithm is proactively promoting them, knowing that longer videos tend to lead to longer watch time. So instead of them being promoted because of the watch time, they may be promoted because of the length. It could also be that higher performing YouTube channels tend to produce longer videos because they can run more ads and therefore generate more revenue. If this were the case, this would show up in the data as longer videos getting more views because the people with more views tend to be producing longer videos. And it could also be that the highest performing channels are the ones doing it full time, so they just have more time and resources to produce longer form content. I have a day job, so producing one 5-minute video a week feels like an epic accomplishment to me. But if I were doing this full time, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to come up with a 10, 15, or 20-minute video once a week. All of this basically means that you have to be careful not to confuse correlation with causation. Correlation means the relationship between the two variables. We do know from the data that longer videos tend to have more views. However, we don't know if there's a causation relationship. We don't know if the longer video length causes more views. It could be related to other factors. To find out, we basically need to do A/B testing. I have plenty of 5-minute videos, so I'm starting to do some longer videos to see if they perform better. That will help me keep some of the other variables the same so I can see if there's more of a causation relationship there. If you typically produce shorter videos, try some longer videos and see what happens. If you get more views, then we're probably onto something. If not, then it could just be a byproduct of other factors. All of this makes me curious, though, to find out if more successful channels tend to produce longer videos. We know there's a relationship at the video level, but I'm curious about the relationship at a channel level. So I took the 500 plus channels in my database and graphed them by subscriber count and the average length of their videos. For example, this dot here is Peter McKinnon with nearly 5 million subscribers at the time I gathered the data. He's got more than that now. And he has an average video length of 11 minutes. This dot over here is Tony and Chelsea Northrup with 1.4 million subscribers and an average video length of 23 minutes. And this dot way over here is me. I had 368 subscribers when I collected this data, and my average video length is 5 minutes. By the way, it's hard to show 368 subscribers versus 5 million subscribers on the same graph, so I used a logarithmic scale for the x-axis just to compress it a bit. This is a pretty big scatter, but if you run a trend line through it, you'll see there's a clear pattern of channels channels with more subscribers putting out longer videos on average. The average channel with 100 subscribers is putting out videos that average 4 minutes long, while the average channel with 1 million subscribers is putting out videos that average about 11 minutes long. Again, that doesn't prove that putting out longer videos will cause you to have more subscribers, but it does show that there's a clear correlation there. And there's a decent likelihood that consistently putting out longer videos will generally result in you getting more views, more subscribers, and eventually more revenue. I'm James Archer, and you should watch some of my other videos. Okay, bye.